Remember when Disney used to be awesome? Like the mid 2010s, the vast majority of their films were just really good, good quality, entertaining, well made. And how do we get here? What's with this backslide? Now I apologize in advance if this video comes across as disorganized and a bit all over the place. I'm just trying to remember as much as I can about Snow White from last night and just speak it out loud, and yeah, just bear with me. Positive things first. Rachel Zegler was fine, she's a good singer, and every time she sings is the film at its least boring. Some of the visuals looked nice. Decent set decoration, good production design, some good costumes here and there. Yeah, that's where the positives end. And I apologise once again for the forthcoming overusage of the words bland, lifeless, soulless, dull, boring, because it just is. It's just these live action Disney remakes lately have just kind of been the same thing over and over again for the most part. Some exceptions, Little Mermaid was actually decent, but for the most part, they're just a bastardized version of the animated originals from way back in the day. Not bastardized entirely in terms of updating the story for a new generation, which this film has a lot of updates on the original Snow White story from the animated film. It's just the vibe, the fun, the magic. It's just not there. It's like Disney took their Henry Hoovers and sucked all the vibrancy and charm out of the original film, and we just have this. Honestly, that's the overarching number one main issue of Snow White for me. It's par for the course with the recent Disney adaptations. It's just a lifeless, dull, bland version of the original story. Now, in terms of those story updates, one of them is there's no prince in this. So Snow White is not waiting for the handsome prince to come along and give her the love's face kiss and go off happily ever after and all that shit. Instead, we have this generic bandit guy who's out in the woods and, foraging and all that kind of stuff, stealing and trying to get by that way. And they meet each other, and it's the classic formula, they butt heads and they gradually fall in love because the script says so. Really, that's it. And on the subject of updating the story, Rachel Zegler a while ago made a comment about how, they're changing the prince to be less creepy and following Snow White and, Snow White just waiting for a prince to, make her life meaningful, all that kind of stuff. And there's a scene between Snow White and this generic bandit character whose name I can't even remember. And they're talking, and the dude says, I'm going to paraphrase, "What, were you expecting your knight in shining armour?" And then a few seconds later, you princesses are just waiting for a handsome prince to rock up and something like that. And I just rolled my eyes. I was like, really? Just, if you want to update the story and just do it well. Don't be so smug about it in writing it in the dialogue for the film. I'm willing to bet that was one of Greta Gerwig's revisions to the script. I bet you £1,000,000 that was one of her lines. If that is true, and that is one of Greta Gerwig's contributions to the script, she's not very good at subtlety, is she? Let's talk about these monstrosities, the Seven Dwarves. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding them, the Peter Dinklage comments, the set pictures making it look like they were full-grown people instead of little people playing the dwarves, and in the end, they just made them CGI characters. And does this approach to the dwarves rob all the vibrancy and the charm and the lovability of the original characters from that original animation? Yes. Does it contribute to the film's bland lifelessness? Yes, it does. Every single review you're going to see and read for this film is going to use the term uncanny valley, rightfully so, and they're just hideous. They just don't blend into the film at all. I'm trying to imagine them being played by actual human beings, and it would have just come across so much better. My favourite character in the original film is Dopey, and in this film, he's a little bit dopey at first, but then he spends the rest of the film just kind of giving Snow White the Puss in Boots face and giving her a really gentle smile in that really bland, lifeless, generic kind of way. Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen was a horrendous miscast. She just never clicked as this character. She overacts quite a bit, which I know it's a evil queen in a adaptation of a cartoon, so that's to kind of be expected. And she sings in the film. Moving on. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there because I'm just struggling to conjure up any more thoughts and observations and perspectives on Snow White. Is it an absolute train wreck disaster of a film? No, yes, kind of. It was exactly what I thought it would be when I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, that looks like another bland Disney remake. And I saw the film and I was like, oh, it's another bland Disney remake. That's it.